Ladies and gentlemen, what's good? We're back with another Bottle Reacts video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. We got another balance change on our hands, and it is another fat one. They have just been going to town on the balance changes, so we're going to go ahead and hop right into the action. Make sure to drop a like if you guys haven't already. There is too much to check out for me to just sit here flapping my gums. Getting things started. Bunch of buffs to the ASM-10, improves reload speed by 10%, decreased flinch by 15%, improved movement speed and ADS movement speed, increase or reduce sprint to fire, and the ADS delay. So overall, the ASM-10 just got a whole lot more aggressive. I would say is definitely one of the big upsides. It looks like in general they're trying to buff 3-shot ARs to make them a little bit more competitive, and I guess maybe to be able to compete with some things like the CBR and the MAC-10. Next up, we got the Man of War, improved movement speed and ADS movement speed, ADS time reduced, and they also reduced the penalty on the huge suppressor. So that means it's a little bit more viable to stack that max range. Obviously, the huge suppressor, the attachment that does give 40% range boost, which is a pretty ridiculous boost. Another buff, which we definitely predicted, and I think is a fairly balanced buff, is a buff to the Odin. So increase in the mag size from 20 to 25. Reload speeds improved by 10%. Movement speed and ADS movement speed are also increased. So it looks like for the slow rate of fire assault rifles, they're trying to give it more mobility to be able to keep up with the SMGs. ADS time reduced by 40 milliseconds, which is pretty sizable. And also, just like on the huge suppressor for the Man of War, same change for the Colossus suppressor, only 16% ADS penalty. Next up, I know people were not too happy that we had a QQ9 nerf last season, so they counteracted it a little bit with what I would say is more effective of a buff than the nerf that we saw. Upper chest multiplier improved from 1 to 1.1, so typically that's gonna be a pretty big factor. And 10% hipfire accuracy is gonna be nice, as well as decreased flinch. And there's another change we're gonna see later on, or it's actually going to have less aim shake for the QQ9 as well. So all those combined, looking like the QQ9 is going to be a decent option. Also a 10% reduction on the recoil of the PPSH. You guys know I love the PPSH. I think it's underrated as it is, so that horizontal recoil buff could work wonders. Next up, we got the damage profile change on the HG40. So it does look like it's going to be able to be a little bit more consistent in the 4 shots in that second damage phase, still able to hit for 25 for the base damage, and also the headshot multiplier all the way up to a 1.5. Let me see, 26 times 1.5 brings us out to a 39. So that is actually going to make it possible for the weapon. Let's see, 39 plus 29 plus 29. I think it would be able to 3-shot with 1 headshot. My math might be off. Some nice little buffs to the cordite as well. Chest multiplier improved from 1 to 1.2. Arm multiplier from 1 to 1.1. So it looks like a lot more consistent 4-shotting for the cordite as well. And a little bit of a buff to the ADS speed. Man, lots for the SMGs. Leg multiplier for the AGR improved from 0.9 to 1. Movement speed improved by 1%. That's actually pretty significant. ADS movement speed improved by 4%. So that's going to be the strafe speed. Improved ADS, or improved, yeah, bullet spread. So ADS bullet spread. And they also buffed the 5.56 by 45 millimeter ammo conversion, so that the chest multiplier went from 1 to a 1.1. So that's getting a nice little buff as well. Razorback upper chest and lower arm multiplier from 1 to 1.1. Reduced recoil, reduced bullet spread while moving. So it looks like the Razorback going to be a little bit more reliable at range as well. DRH, it looks like more buffs than it actually is. I've read through this. It's decent, but I don't think any of this is going to impact the OTM mag. So I'm not sure any of it's going to be super sizable. Headshot multiplier from 1.2 to 1.3. And arm damage multiplier increased a little bit as well. I guess that's going to make it so that if you hit somebody in the arms, you will potentially be able to 3-shot without the OTM mag, but realistically, I don't see this being a super significant change. They increased the range by a tiny amount as well, but once again, overall, I don't see that having a huge play on how well the DRH is going to be able to play. It did get a pretty big buff to ADS bullet spread last week. Not last week, last month. So we'll see. I haven't tried it out. Maybe I should be trying it out. KN-44, sprint to fire delay reduced, arm multiplier increased, tactical reload time improved, and full reload time improved. So none of those going to be super significant outside maybe the arm multiplier, but overall, some of these middle of the road guns slowly creeping up on some of the meta guns. LK-24, reduced sprint to fire. All those are not really major factors. Reload time, nice, but not amazing. Then we got a big list of guns that are getting reduced intensity. This is what I was talking about earlier, the aim shake getting reduced on these guns, and it's for some of the guns that you're going to feel it most on. Specifically, the QQ9, I think, is one where you can feel it a lot. SKS, you can definitely feel it a lot, and I would also say the ASM-10 and the RPD all have pretty sizable aim shakes, so this is going to make it so you can be a lot more consistent regardless of whether or not you have optics equipped. That's going to be nice as well. This is one change that I am extremely surprised by, given how massive it is. All weapons swap speed 30% faster, excluding the Rytech and the Shorty. That's going to be really nice for weapons like the PKM that had just absurdly slow pullout times. But honestly, every weapon in general, it's just going to be ridiculously fast. It may ultimately result in even more people melee abusing, because if you can swap weapons 30% faster, and you realize last second somebody's on top of you, that's like instantly you got to melee out and whopping them in the face. So I'm not sure how I feel about this one. You guys can let me know down in the comments your thoughts on it, but that's one of those I'm like, I didn't really feel like it was necessary. Amped is going to be completely irrelevant, and I'm just not really sure how to feel about it. Then we have some interesting changes to shotguns in the game. So the KRM, number of pellets increased from 8 to 12, but the damage decreased by a pretty significant amount. So I don't really know what to expect out of this. I would assume, because obviously overall it's not going to change that much. It's a 50% increase and just below a 50% decrease in the actual damage of the gun. So I think the second damage phase is actually still going to be really strong, and I think if you overall build out for bullet spread accuracy, I think this could actually be a huge buff for shotguns, because you have that on the KRM, you also have it on the By 15, you also have it on the Shorty, and I believe you also have it on the HS-0405. So across the board, I'm not entirely sure how this is really going to impact things. We do also have an increase or a decrease on the rate, the fire rate. Basically, you can shoot the Shorty faster, which I don't think was necessary at all. We were absolutely miserable watching an entire stage 5 that was dominated by Shorties, and then we're back at it with more Shorty domination. Do we have Shorties in stage 5? Actually, I think it got nerfed before stage 5. But all of stage 4 was all Shorties, and it was just not fun to watch. So I'm not sure why buff the fire rate interval. Overall, shotguns, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. There's no 100% way of predicting what it's going to look like. I think that this is going to make it stronger and easier to hit, even if you're not super accurate. But once again, not 100% positive. We're going to kind of have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, that was the end of that page. We also have a buff to the HS-2126, which I don't think has ever happened. I think this is one of the few guns that has never received a buff. I'm sure D Hitman will be very excited about this one. But damage per pellet changed, moved up, range is increased, yada, yada, yada. Jack 12 got a buff. Neither of those super significant, but overall, I think we're going to see more shotguns in the coming seasons. I don't know why they're focusing on buffing shotguns so much, but this is kind of a wait and we'll see how it plays out type of thing. Reactor core, it's not something I felt like people were like, yeah, I really want to use the reactor core, but it's fine. TAC 15, this is a mess. Like, people don't realize, especially given the fact that we're going to talk about a kinetic armor nerf that's coming. This is a huge buff to the TAC 15. So we'll show the rest of it right here. SVD nerf, I'm happy with that. That's been a top 5 gun for a long time. Reduction from 40 to 30 meters is pretty sizable. K9 unit. I think it was already nerfed enough, but I'm definitely not mad about the fact that they nerfed it a little bit more. But looking at the buffs and nerfs that we're getting on the TAC 15, it says TAC 15, it's TAC 5 and kinetic armor. So kinetics HP is reduced by basically 60 or like 33%. I guess that is basically the percentage that we would see there. That's huge, and especially when you look at the fact that TAC 5 went from 50 up to 70. That's 70 to each player on your team. So that's 350 HP of total increase that you're getting from that. Look at kinetic armor. That's net 100. So you're getting up a plus 350 versus a net 100. Tag 5 is absolutely going to be meta following this season. I think even though Purifier is getting a nerf that we're about to see, I think Purifier is still going to be meta as far as lethal operators go. You guys will see they decrease the duration. I think it just needs a decrease in damage overall because there's literally no time to react to it. But it is what it is. Or maybe even a little bit more of a sprint to fire delay. I think that could work as well. But overall, definitely going to be interesting to see how that plays. And then we do also have some BR changes. So increased hip fire bullet spread by 20%. They had already nerfed hip fire pretty sizably. They're doing it again for SMGs, LMGs, and ARs. I feel like that just makes shotguns indirectly even more powerful. And I believe all the changes to shotguns are playing out the same way in Battle Royale as well. So they seem dead set on a shotgun meta for some reason. I don't really know why. I think anybody that plays Battle Royale is probably excited for a pump nerf, unless you are an abuser of the pump class. I think it's been really obnoxious for a while right now, so reducing the acceleration and increasing the charge time, I think, are both W's. We do also see a nerf to the EBR, so the first damage phase is going to be the same, but does drop off a little bit sharper and increase recenter time as well. Multiplayer shotgun changes do apply to Battle Royale, so maybe the changes will look different than what I think they'll look like, but overall, I think shotguns are just going to absolutely take over in Battle Royale. It'll be interesting to see, but that's going to be it for the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Once again, a lot of balance changes, a lot to take a look at. I'm curious what you guys are thinking, but that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.